In this video, I'd like to explain about extraterrestrials. We're going to start at the beginning, and I'm going to go really fast. I have many other videos to explain so many aspects of this and so many aspects of quantum physics and other aspects of creation, and it goes on and on. But I'm going to explain about extraterrestrials. First, I've probably seen about 50 UFOs in my life. They're not UFOs, they're ET ships. I saw two on Saturday night. This is Monday. I've seen, lots of the ones you usually see, those ones in the sky, go shh, shh, and then they disappear. I've seen a lot of other different sizes and different shapes, some very large. Other people have seen them, they have pictures, but crazy amounts of them are in our atmosphere right now. They're just cloaked. And the first time, I guess you could say, I had remember about extraterrestrials is I always remembered being born and waiting to get my body, and being with a council of who now I know of going through extensive hypnosis, Arcturians, and they wanted me to come here. The point of it was to help Earth ascend, and this was something I put up a great big argument about, but we'll get into that in other videos. Now, to explain about extraterrestrials, there's many different shapes and forms. It comes down to the fact that all of us have created endless universes for ourselves and taken on many different shapes and forms. This comes out in hypnosis. I do hypnosis with people. I have many friends that do this as well. The best resource probably to understand this is Dolores Cannon's books, but many other people writing books the same now. All the same information comes through all of us. Now, why are there endless universes, and why do we take on endless shapes and forms? Why? It's because we don't get bored, okay? You have to understand, we are all eternal beings, and we've all been around forever and ever and ever. And we need amusement for ourselves. And you have to understand sometimes, explain a bit about extraterrestrials and just a bit about how, say, large their consciousness is and how large our consciousness really is. But it's like, you can imagine yourself now, and this is who you are in creation. But now imagine yourself as an earthworm. You know what I mean? You have a life on Earth, an earthworm, the consciousness of earthworm. That's what it's like really when you come here to Earth. Your consciousness is like, this big. Got to see it to believe it, That's how it is. Wait for everyone else to create it and I'll follow. Well, that's not how it is. We create our reality. This is how the, different universes has different parameters. This one is a free will universe. We are free to create whatever we like. But we also have to remember about trespassing on others, because, and this is one thing about extraterrestrials, is they understand the sharedness of creation. So, I'm going to explain about, I'm not going to really explain too much about the ships, because everybody else, you've seen all the pictures of them all over the internet. I can tell you a bit more about maybe what they look like inside. My experiences that way, from being sort of big conscious, come to Earth as like an earthworm, now expanding my conscious back up to this. I'm mostly just going to talk about the Galactic Federation, because that's really only what's really relevant, mostly in our in your realities. In mine it's different, and well, in yours it could be different if you want to ascend to that level of consciousness. There's many other universes, like fluidic universes, crystal universes, color universes, and I'll get into that details about those in other videos. First of all, about the one ET that people see a lot of are the Greys, the tall, skinny ones. There's a picture of them in a crop circle that's been decoded. We all know what they look like, and that's very real. That's what they look like. Now the other ones explain about the Arcturians. This who I have most to do with the Greys and Arcturians, but the other ones I meet them. The Arcturians are more, they're shorter. They have their skin is sort of like you know when you cut the circulation off and your skin kind of goes like a purplish color. They're more like kind of like that purple, a little more purplish color like that. And they have you know, bigger head, but they can sort of have these ridges sort of here on their skulls. And of course we've seen many sort of different pictures of them. Now, one thing about the Arcturians, a lot of them, they all look a lot alike, and I'm going to explain why. When you come from a density of, I mean, real high consciousness, and come to a very low density, like Earth, one of the lowest densities in creation, then you have such individual realities, and our forms take on more individual forms. When you are like an Arcturian, when I communicate with them, or this is how they think, or how, you know, I communicate with 1, 1,000, 10,000, a million at the most simultaneously. And this is through like telepathy, which I have videos explaining how to be telepathic. But one thing about with the Arcturians is because they have such an expanded consciousness, everything that they're doing is being shared with everybody else. And this is how, because they're sharing and feeling each other more, they're more likely to take on more of a similar appearance because of the collectiveness of the whole thing. It's just higher consciousness. This is just how it goes. There's a lot higher consciousness than that even. But then we take on more light forms and shapes like that. Now, simply about telepathy, I have a video about that. I just explained telepathy. What happens when you put 2 empaths in the same room? What do you get? Telepathy. Telepathy is empathy. To be empathic, is the more open you are, the more you're able to sense things. This is Earth is a real killer of empathy, because you have to conform. People laugh at you, make fun. You have to conform to this idea, that. Well, you don't know any different, so you just follow along like a lost puppy dog. Earthworm consciousness. In fact, now is the time when we are ascending to higher conscious level. We can expand our consciousness. So that's about telepathy. Now, to go a little further about some of the other creation is full of these extraterrestrials. Life is just endless. Now, I explained I was on a ship. Now I'm explaining, you know, I did remote viewing all my life. And I decided, you know, maybe 30 years ago to remote view out there in the universe. Well, it's endless. It's fascinating. Now I do a lot of all of this. I do it with hypnosis. And through this hypnosis, I remember more and more, as well as, so it just comes through me every day, and I wake up to, you know, more and more to 5th to 8th dimensional consciousness. I'm fluctuating back and forth. I can go higher real fast, but I'm, you know, staying here sort of at this sort of level, so I can still be here to, you know, be in contact with any of you that want this information, that, you know, free will information that, you know, you want to ascend or you want it. If you don't want it, then who cares? Do your thing. You have free will, whatever you want to do. So, so now I connect to them telepathically. To be on a ship, it was, the reason I was on a ship when I was a kid was because I was a volunteer, because I, you know, had to come to Earth here to help, and I'd never been here before. And the density of the planet, like the, you know, it was, you know, I couldn't handle it. And really what it was I couldn't handle, like I was crying myself to sleep at night, wondering how come people were so cruel to each other. I couldn't get it, and it was just, you know, I was going to die. So ETs took me on a ship, and they just did some basic energy healing, but they did some things in my body. I was born a bit premature, and they just helped a few things out, that whatever that was needed, they took care of it. This all same kind of healing can be done. Read Dolores Cannon's books. I do with hypnosis. We do healing. You have this great big oversoul that can rewrite the program if you like. This is holographic, by the way. I'll get into all this in other videos and maybe a little bit yet here. So now, when say I'm telepathically on a ship, the only way to say describe it, we always look at things as being rooms, as being square, open spaces, but they tend to like to fill in the spaces with things. So things will be filled in here and there, and these things are designed. Now that we are capable of say designing and building some of these things, because we got this idea of being 3D printers. And 3D printers don't have to use plastic; they use metal. They can use clay, cement, concrete, glass. Print all kinds of things. So with all the shapes and things, and they fill in all the things with all kinds of different designs, and well, every culture, everything's a little different. And and also when I did remote viewing many years, the same thing would be, say, when they would build a factory. We build a factory and the floor is full and they got this big open space. Well, they tend to like to fill that in because they don't see a need for waste. So they tend to fill these spaces in with something. And because they can, they don't want to do such a drastic imprint on, say, planet Earth. Because we're moving into this too as a collective where we build and create things. The idea of capitalism, who gets the most money wins, is silly nonsense. I make videos about that as well. And whatever we do now has to be beneficial to ourselves, to humans, to animals, beneficial to the planet, beneficial to the galaxy, beneficial to creation. We're meant to play here to explain another aspect of manifestation, creating. This is all holographic. Probably the best thing on the internet, you can watch the movie The Secret, Abraham Hicks, Law of Attraction. They made a movie about The Secret. I have my own video called Manifestation. It explains the same thing, but in a little different way, but the same thing, of how the feeling creates the reality. This is how it was made for us to be able to create all these different things within different dimensional levels. Dimensions are different densities of light energy. Dr. Royal Rife proved this when he created the spectrometer and bioresonance healing and other stuff. He proved that everything has light energy and everything has its own light energy frequency, and therefore everything is holographic. Everything's a moment. Don't you think everything is energy? It is energy. It's light energy. We see it. It has light. We have light energy. We see shapes. We see depth. We experience it that way. If it wasn't a light energy, it wouldn't be just quite the same. But mixed in with all the light, then you can have slower frequencies of like sound, all kinds of different levels of vibrations within the lower densities of light. And this is how we are able to create and shape all of our experiences. Again, so we don't get bored. To explain a little bit more about extraterrestrials, there are different ones. We can go in, a few different variations. Most are bipedal. So one, somehow they have to be able to move around, be flexible, do things. You can have one that's a little bit more, say, a few more limbs, more octopus type, sort of thing. You can have that. There's one little short one, real short, and really round head, little ears, tiny little nose, little eyes. There's some that are, and this is where I gotta take a little more time to maybe sort this out, to say separate which ones are, say, amphibious versus reptilian. So I could say there's more than one reptilian, but how does this reptilian start crossing over to amphibious into whatever shape and form? How do we perceive it here on Earth? And I'll say one thing about this, and any of you who do anything you don't understand on Earth, you immediately create it into fear. Well, the reptilians, they're all of them in the Galactic Federation are higher dimensional consciousness. So they don't understand the idea of killing and manipulations and all these different things, other than, if you decided you wanted a specific type of game, they'll help sort you out that way. If you wanted to have that fear thing, I suppose, there's help behind the scenes. But the reptilians and all these different things in the Galactic Federation, ETs and all that, they're all benevolent. I mean, they're all loving beyond belief. They all just want to share creation, sharing whatever we do, share expanding creation. Now, however, there are different ideas about creation, and not to say so much in the Galactic Federation, but other aspects of creation can have its own sort of aspects of creating its own agenda, I guess you could say. Somehow, you have a black hole or some way, a universe is like a torus, and it keeps revolving back in on itself, so eventually everything is destroyed and recreated again. And that way it never gets boring again, right? So we're always in the now moment, just experiencing the now, really. We're not worried about really tomorrow that much, and we're not worried about the past. So the past is, we have endless past, the endless universe, endless everything. Who cares? Been there, done it all. Do we really care about it? No, we just care about experiencing the now. So there are some more, like, sort of, say, like a salamander, sort of bipedal looking, a little more sleeker. There's one that, like a flying sort of, like a, kind of has sort of rounded, sort of kind of clear black legs and sort of clear kind of wings on it, like more like butterfly wings. That one can fly. There's another sort of, get into more bipedal sort of, again, sort of what you would say more towards more like an ant. How do I explain these things? Sit down and draw them out or something. And then there's like aquatics. There's a couple like that sort of have a consciousness in more like, say, you could say like water worlds. It doesn't have to. We have an idea of water. Life exists in water, but it could be methane. It could be liquids. They experience life in a liquid sense. And they're all here sort of helping. There's certain main ones like the Arcturians, the Greys, Zetas, the Palladians from Sirius, and there's a few that can be here from other universes as well, helping out. It's and everybody's watching. You have to realize that you don't realize because you're just stuck in the density of the game, and you had an earthworm consciousness, and now we got cell phones, that can do all this stuff. Well, we're not quite the earthworm we used to be, are we, anymore? But right now, we have to understand we are the movie stars of creation, and they're all watching us. We're the movie stars because we're doing something that has never been done before. We have never had so many, like a mass of people consciousness ascend from such a lowest density reality to a highest density reality. And there's incredible amount of help behind the scenes. We're moving from a 3-dimensional reality to a 5th-dimensional reality. I have many videos explaining all these things as well. So, just to explain a little bit about, extraterrestrials. I'm sure, because I've seen about 50 of them, they are always extremely interested in me, because this is, of course, what my job is, to explain all of this. to you. What you do with it is up to you. If you're ready to ascend, you're ready for it all, great. If you're not, great. You have free will, enjoy the now of whatever your experience is. But I'm sure I'm going to get into a lot more details as this progresses. If you look online, you'll see different ones that are channeling. I like certain ones. I like Susan Lai. She's L-I-E. She does a great job. There's other ones that channel sort of what they come off as Saint Germain or Saint Michael or Archangel Michael or different. They use names and terms as some way to relate higher consciousnesses. Okay. There's Bashar Daranka. He channels Bashar. Another one is channeled Cryon. And if you watch over the last, say, a few years, they're getting really detailed now. It's because we're really accelerating into this ascension thing, and they're releasing more information. So this is disclosure. I'm giving you disclosure right now. I have many videos, and they're also giving you disclosure. Disclosure, you have earthworm consciousness, and you think disclosure is, I want to see extraterrestrial technology and I want to fly in a ship. No, it's a lot more than that. And that doesn't really, that's the tiniest little bit of disclosure. Disclosure is about who and what we really are. It's really irrelevant, really, so much about, extraterrestrial ship and what that means. Now, disclosure, and many people have given disclosure that have worked with ETs and found ships and been involved in these things. They've all over the internet. People have made movies about it. They've all wrote it down. They've already given you disclosure. If you're waiting for three-dimensional people who are in government who like the idea of money and they're so self-absorbed in that, how you expect them to give you disclosure on anything? They don't really care. They want to get the cookies before everybody else gets all the cookies. So I have all the cookies because now look at me, I'm the richest. I win the Earth game. But in fact, you actually lost the Earth game, because that is the illusion that it creates. It's a constant merry-go-round of distractions and pulling you away, and you get lost in it. So those people get lost in the idea of money and obsessed with those type of things: power control, victimization, and sometimes religion. Okay, some people get caught in religion. They read a book and it's only in the book. I can find my reality of my consciousness idea of God to this book, and it's only in this book. It can't be anything else but in this book. There's a lot more to the story. That's all I can say for people who are, are religious, very religious. It's just a lot more to the story. It's whether you choose to let your free will expand. And a lot of people have had certain religious ideas, and a lot of people have expanded far beyond the confines of religion, as not to discriminate against other people because of another religion, even where it used to be a big thing. Oh, he's not part of my religion, so I can't talk to him. Those type of things, right? So we've moved far beyond some of these old ideas of things. Now, about extraterrestrials saying hello to us. This is something that is getting very, very close. If I knew when, I can't say when. I have a good idea when. But what you're seeing now, like I saw 2 UFOs a couple of nights ago there. Again, I seen cylinder shaped one. I seen one, a really big one. They pop out of the clouds, different sizes, but they pop out of the clouds. They have funky light shows going on in the clouds, and then they pop out and they pop back in again. Those ones say hello. Now, isn't it funny how did these people make a movie called Close Encounters in 1977, a long time ago, and ETs come and say hello with funky lights? Now, I think there was a movie I just watched. I don't watch hardly any movies. I listen to music because it's all three-dimensional dramas, and I don't want to get sucked into silly dramas about nonsense. It's just ridiculous being here on Earth. but I think it was called Arrival or something like that, and sort of these octopus-looking ETs would write with sort of ink and had designs, and they're trying to communicate with them. Now, it's a great story and all, but they forgot one thing. They forgot telepathy. Okay? Then this is within all of you, so the more you expand your empathy out, a video I explained, and there's other people on the internet that explain these things as well, telepathy with animals. You know, the dog whisperer, the horse whisperer, the people that are really good with these things, right? I have a video explaining telepathy, and a part of it is explaining, telepathy with animals in connection with those things. And so ETs are waiting for us to say hello to them. So it's all within you to, take the picture of the Zeta Gray's head with the disc. You'll see the crop circle, the head with the disc here. Okay, the head with the disc. Just look at that head, close your eyes, and just feel very positive, warm, wonderful thoughts to them. Okay, say I love you, I want to communicate with you, and just say, I appreciate you, and just say wonderful things like that. And and keep it up. Not to say right away, but keep it up. And it won't take long. You'll make connections faster than you might think. And they're just waiting for us to do that. And so this is the way they can say hello. Don't have to say, oh, here's our ship. Look, let's have a party. They can communicate that way. So that's another way of this all happening. So sorry, it's a lot of information to cram into a very short video. I go into a lot more details about different aspects of things and of all of it. But I have many other videos to explain all these different aspects of things and make it make sense to all of you. So I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope that you enjoyed it, help you to ascend to higher conscious level. By the way, synchronicities, okay, repeating numbers, 111, 222, 333, 444, whatever. Synchronicities is the beginning of your awakening of a connection to a higher conscious level. And I show in those videos about manifestation, main repeating message, and crop circles. Some of these other videos, I really bring it down to a better earth level so that you can understand these things, because it's actually really quite exhausting to try to use words in a video like this to really explain higher consciousness stuff. It's very difficult. Anyways, thank you. Bye.